Okay, so this is homework number one, number two, which is 2.2.15. So I think the biggest thing with this problem is just knowing the vocabulary. So in order to know what to do here, you have to know what a relative frequency distribution is, okay? So one thing that you want to make sure that you do in your question help here, go to question help. And you can either click Help Me Solve This or View an Example. Both of these are awesome resources to help you to learn the material. I find that students don't necessarily love the interactive text at times. It depends on what kind of student you are and what you've been exposed to in the past. But this will really help. If you do use Help Me Solve This, just to kind of show you how this works, they are going to explain how to do the problem. Right? So they're saying, oh, what's the sum of all the frequencies? The sum is when we add them all up. So you're going to add up all these numbers and then you'll type in your number and so on. But what's going to happen when you finish doing it this way, you'll get the right answer, but because it helped you, it's going to give you partial credit. So once you fix that, like once you actually go through and you do the problem and you get partial credit, see where it says similar questions on the bottom of the page? That's not going to show up until you're done with the problem. But if you use Help Me Solve This, you'll want to do similar question and try it on your own to get full credit. Another thing to do, if you don't want to do Help Me Solve This, is to do View an Example, and you can see exactly what they're doing to find the answers here. So if you look here, to get relative frequency, it's really just the percent that's happening in that category. So you take the frequency for each category. Frequency just means number. So in this case, they're talking about the first line here. First, the number of children under 5 is none. The number of households that have no children under 5 is 16, so they have 16 on the top here. And then you divide by the total frequency, the sum of the frequencies. And the sum of the frequencies, again, is just adding up all of these households. Add up how many actually responded to the survey. And it turns out there were 50. So you divide 16 divided by 50, and you get 0.32. So that's how they're getting these relative frequencies here. They're going to add up all the households that have one child, which is 17, and divide by 50. And then how many households have two children under 5, which is 12, and divide by 50. And then number 3 was 3 divided by 50, and number of children under 5 is for 4 children, 4 children under 5, sorry, I can't talk, was 2, and you divide by 50. And that's how you get all of these values. Now, in order to get the other ones here, you want to go ahead and take a look at what they're asking. So we have what percentage of households has 2 children under the age of 5? So 2 children under the age of 5 would be 24%. So remember, to change a decimal to a percent, you move the decimal place 2 places to the right. So that's how they're getting 24%. And what percent of households has 1 or 2 children under the age of 5? Whenever we find the probability of 2 things, one or the other, you're going to add those probabilities together. So if I have 1 or 2 children, so 1 or 2, I'm going to add together 0.34 and 0.24. But again, I think the Help Me Solve This is a great one for this problem, because then it will actually bring you through exactly how to do each one of these. I hope that helps. If you have any more questions, let me know.